Hello, you've reached Gloria with Farmstead Talk, and I am here today with Cheri from Coldstream Icelandics, and she is representing her state of Maine in this homesteading interview today. Welcome, Cheri, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. So, Cheri, where can the audience find you on social media?
Find me. I'm Cheri Magnuson, but I also have a farm blog, which is Coldstream Icelandics.
Do you have a Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, I have both. I have Facebook. It's Coldstream Ice. I have an Instagram. It's Coldstream Icelandics too. So you can get me at either place.
Okay, very good. So, Cheri, if you'd share a little bit about yourself and where you're currently living.
I'm currently living in the beautiful state of Maine. I'm in mid-state, I'd call it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I have all kinds of different kinds of trees around me. I have a fish hatchery on one side of me, a lake in front of me, Coldstream Pond, and then I have Coldstream Stream that runs and borders two sides of my farm. And I have in the summer we've got lupin and wildflowers and lilacs, and in winter, of course, we have a lot of snow. And then there's always beautiful sunsets and my beautiful sheep.
Okay. How long have you been on this property for?
Since 2013.
Okay. And would you describe the property as being rural?
Rural?
Yes. Is it in a rural area?
Oh, yeah. The nearest town is, I think, where you can buy groceries and stuff is about 6 miles. So I guess
Okay.
that's rural.
How big is the property?
I have 15 acres.
Okay. And what would you say was the inspiration for wanting to live this lifestyle?
I've always wanted to, since I was a little girl. My father was a veterinarian, and my dream was to have my very own farm, not renting a farm, but have my own farm where I could grow the things I wanted, and to have a farm that was in harmony with nature, have places for the birds and the different little wild creatures to grow too. So this Maine was just a place that really fit the bill. I studied very hard, and the trees here are healthy, and the rivers and streams are good. There's no fracking, there's no mining that I know of, and it's just a good place. It's a good place for families. We need more people to come to Maine and buy farms. The farmland is really inexpensive. Highly recommend it for young couples. There's a good organic movement going right now. There's a explosion of artisans here doing all kinds of work with wool, weaving, spinning. It's fabulous. And then we have, I think, 3 mills now owned by families here that do wool, different types of wool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. So share what type of animals you have right now out on the farm.
I have the Viking sheep, the beautiful Viking sheep. And that's one of the reasons why I picked them, was because they have such a heritage. They are the sheep that came over on the ships with the Vikings to all the different countries, like Greenland, Iceland, even the Americas, they think, too. And the Vikings brought over the sheep. They made their sails for their ships out of the wool. They made their clothing. They made their tents. I mean, without the sheep, there would be no Vikings. And they're great sheep. You can not only use their wool, but the meat is very mild. I've never eaten one of mine, but I've tasted other people's sheep. And they can be milked, and the milk is 16% butter fat. It's real high in butter fat, so you can use it for making butter or yogurt or whatever. Cheese makes great cheese. So I think Icelandic are a perfect sheep for a small homestead. It'd be a good one for someone to come that just wanted to have like 3 or 4 maybe. And I just love them. I love their personalities. You do have to have good fencing though, because they are smart. They're a lot smarter than most sheep are. And they have a spirit about them that I can't really explain, but it's not like other sheep. It just touches me. I don't know. It's like I can sense them, and they know me. You know, they know I'm their shepherd, and I love them, and I each one has their own personality. They're wonderful. I really, really am blessed.
So do you source out then do you sell the wool off of them and?
Yes.
Yep.
Now the lamb wool, the first year you can get $25 to $35 a pound for the first year, because it's just like angel fluff. It's just beautiful stuff. And then the second year after that, I sell it for more like in the 20s. And then we also send some up to the mill. It's a rustic mill, and I recommend them because he does a wonderful job of cleaning. What I do is I have them sheared by Edie, and then I take the wool up to a rustic mill with Andy, and Andy takes and cleans it and picks all the stuff out of it and then makes it into either roving to sell or yarn, or roving or yarn to sell. So I sell quite a bit. I've even sent some to the Netherlands and to Ireland. Seems kind of funny, but I did. And I have quite a few people that love my wool. Absolutely love it. It's a gorgeous wool. It's the first year is usually at least 8 to 12 inches long. It's just amazing. And all the different colors. I mean, you can get a jet black, you can get all shades of autumn, like a burgundy and a reddish gold color and a deep chocolate brown. I mean, there's just a myriad of colors. And then you get the blacks and the grays, and then the reddish gray and the reddish black. I mean, it's just amazing. There's no other sheep that comes up with as many colors that I can remember.
Sounds beautiful.
It is.
Do you sell any of the milk or anything for any of the other byproducts from your sheep?
I do not sell the milk. I do milk some of the sheep's milk and freeze it when they first have their lambs, so that if I have a lamb that loses its mother or that the mother rejects, I'll have milk for it.
And how long is that good for, to freeze that?
I've used some a year later.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I haven't done any of the making yogurt and stuff. I did make butter once. It was by accident, though. I stirred it too long and it made butter. I thought, wow, this stuff's really rich. No, but I sell the fleeces and I sell lambs for starter flocks and weather buddies, and then I usually donate one to 4-H every year, at least one lamb.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
What about gardening? Do you know what gardening zone you're in? What growing zone?
I have tried gardening here, but I lost my son the first year I moved here, and I have some injuries, old injuries and new injuries, where it makes it really difficult for me to garden. But I do bartering. I will trade some of my fleas, or I'll trade a lamb for different types of vegetables and stuff. I have grown tomatoes, and I got about 40 pounds, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I have, tomatoes. Let's see what else. Not much.
Do you have fruit trees or anything on the property?
Oh, I do. I have 2 apple trees, and they pretty much are taken over by the sheep. They stand under them, willing them to fall off. It's an old tree. It doesn't produce a lot. But I have a little girl that comes over, and she'll take and climb the tree and then drop the apples down for the sheep. They all kind of surround the tree and wait. And then I had a ram for a while, and he would butt the tree to bring the apples down.
Wow.
But I can get all the apples I want. There's an apple orchard, Robinson's Orchard. It's just up the road. So I can get all the apples I want from him. And when I was younger, I used to go and get windfalls I would go to an orchard, and I'd ask them if I could pick windfalls. Mm-hmm. And then I'd take the windfalls and I'd make applesauce. And I mean, I had more apples than I knew what to do with. I took some to church. So gleaning is always a good thing, because you can sometimes get quite a bit of stuff from farms once they're done, like the potatoes. Once they've done the potatoes, sometimes they'll let people come in and pick potatoes, and you just go in with your basket and
what is that called?
It's called gleaning. It's like you go in after the harvest and you take the stuff that's just left. There's nothing wrong with it, but there should be a lot more of it going on. People just let the apples just fall off the tree and nobody does anything with them, which is sad.
Yeah.
It's just that the youth today, they need to learn how to do some of the canning and stuff, because homemade applesauce is delicious. It really
Right.
is. And
It
then,
is.
yeah. And in here they have these fiddleheads. Have you ever heard of them?
I have not, no.
Oh, now that's something I do. It's like a fern head that comes up in the spring and you pick it. It's almost like picking asparagus. And then you pick it and you bring it and you can fry it, you can can it, you can pickle it. It's really tasty. It tastes a little bit like asparagus, a little bit on the nutty side. And then they have, if you're on the coast, you've got the goosegrass you can pick. There's different there's wild cranberries, there's wild blueberries. There's all kinds of wild things that you can pick or learn how to look for. There's a lot of mushrooms, but you have to be careful because some of them are poisonous, but there are a lot. There's morels and there's, I think there's chanterelles and hen and chickens. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of mushrooms and a few fungi that you can, and my stream is full of fish. I have a fish hatchery right next door to me. So I can catch fish, and then the lake has produced some of the largest trout in the state. So that's good. And then,
Cheri, tell me what you think has been the biggest success on your farm thus far.
I think that I've raised some of the most beautiful sheep in the United States. I really do. I have a couple that went to Vermont and won every show they went into. I gifted them to a young man that was doing 4-H, but I wanted him to have the very best.
Nice.
And he just did amazing with them. I'm so happy. The thing that makes me the happiest is when I share the sheep with the kids, and they all come. When I go to the fairs and I tell the Viking story, and all the children come and they're petting my sheep and giving them animal cookies, and it just makes my heart warm. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for promoting the Icelandic breed and having children learn, because I bring different types of fleeces down there. They can touch them, they can try combing, and they can pet the lambs, and I show them the different things that you can make from the fleece. And that's been my high point. It has been the children being, I had 4-H kids come and they work off the sheep, clean the barn or something, and then I see them taking care of the sheep and that sheep having babies. And I sent some sheep to a lady to start her farm. It's all about gifting and giving, and then seeing that grow. And I don't know, it's a beautiful thing.
So that was one of your biggest successes. What about the biggest challenge that you have at the farm?
My son passed away, and it was devastating for me because, well, we were close because he's my son, and then we had all these plans, and when you lose your right arm, it's really hard, and a piece of your heart, so that was really difficult for me. I still have moments where it's difficult. So I'd say that was the most difficult thing. But my sheep, because they love me, and I go in there and they seem to know that something's wrong. They come around and you pet them, and they'll lay their head on your lap or put their head in your hand. It's like they sense your spirit,
Yeah.
And it was because of them I think I was able to get through it. So that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So I'm glad that you had them for yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
Why is homesteading and living on the farm so important to you?
I think I shrivel up and die in the city. I love looking out and seeing the trees and smelling the earth and watching the seasons. When I was in town, when I lived in California, there weren't any seasons. And I was in engineering, and it was all high tension power thing, dressing up every day and going there and just working your what off all day long. It's real stressful. I mean, I enjoyed my work. I enjoyed but now I just feel a peace within that I never felt before when I was there. And even though don't have much money, I feel wealthy because I have what I need. I have a roof over my head. I have animals that love me. I'm living the way I want to live. I'm eating healthy. It's just been a good move for me. And I wish I had done it when I was younger.
Let me ask you a question. What would you like to see others get from this interview today?
I think that they need to believe. They need to believe in themselves. If they have a dream, they need to reach out and grab hold of that dream. Start making plans and like a foundational plan, what you want, where you want to live, what you're going to raise, and build on that and just believe that you can. Because if you can't believe that you can, you won't be able to. And because mine was a dream. It birthed when I was just a little girl, and I didn't grab hold of it until I was 63 years old, and now I'm 71. So do it before you reach that age. Do it younger and go for it, because it's a good way to bring your children up. I wish I had done it sooner. Yeah, do it sooner. Do it now.
I hear a lot of people say, do it sooner. Do it as soon as you can.
And if you keep waiting for the right moment, it'll never come. You have to pursue your dream. Reach out, grab hold of it, go for it. The time is now. Do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that you like to write. What was your inspiration for writing your books? You're an author, published author. What was your inspiration for that?
When my son committed suicide, I started writing some of the memories that I had when I was a child, positive things about him and about my brothers and sisters and myself. And it gave me a release where I felt like I was doing something positive, and I was leaving a legacy behind for my children, so that they could see and know what I did or experienced as a child. And then I published, I wrote poems, and then I also shared some of my son's poems. And when he passed away, I put a book together of his poems and a few of mine and some of the photos I'd taken. And I got it made into a book, I published a book. And then I sent it around to his friends so they could write in. I left some blank pages in it. And I think it was a memorial for him. But the writing has given me a purpose. It's given me a future and a hope. I feel like I have a purpose now. I want to share my dream and share some of the stories with people who may also have a story that they should share, and have a dream that they need to grab hold of.
Do you want to share the other books that you've published?
I've got one that's just about ready to publish. Let's see. Let's grab it. Let's see. How do we share it? Do I go?
Just tell me what the name of it is.
Oh, it is. There. It is Heart the Leader Sheep, protector of all things small. I love that sheep. She's a very unusual sheep. She's a leader sheep, and they're very limited. There's only a few amount of these sheep in the whole world. And they're smart. They're so smart that it's almost like they can sense things.
And then what about the other book?
The other book is called The Adventures of Dum Dum, a directionally impaired chicken. It's for children. I had a chicken, a Polish chicken that kept getting lost. She was directionally impaired. And I just loved that chicken. I never knew where I was going to find her. So I wrote a story about her, and she's on Amazon now, Dum Dum. So
was there a message that you wanted to get across with your books?
Oh yeah, there is. Like Heart is a leader sheep. She's what do you call it, ambiguous gender. Like she can't have lambs. And I didn't know until about the 3rd year. I couldn't figure out why she couldn't have lambs. And they told me that she wouldn't be able to have any. And then I thought, you know, even though she can't have a lamb, she's the most important sheep I have, because she takes care and protects all the lambs. So it doesn't really matter to me that she can't have a lamb. What matters to me is she is who she is, and that she is one of the most awesome sheep I've ever been around. She's worth her weight in gold, you know. So that's the story I was telling about Heart, is that she's the protector of all things small. I mean, and I love her. I've had her about, since 2013. So yeah, she's amazing. And then Dum Dum. Dum Dum is not very smart, but she's wonderful. She gave me lots of love, and she was always there to greet me, and she didn't judge me. You know, she liked me just the way I was. You know, she didn't care if I was overweight or old or whatever. You know, she would just come running as soon as she saw me. So we need to not judge people or animals for whether they're the smartest one on the block or whether they can have 3 lambs every year, you know?
I agree.
So
really?
My story.
Really, I agree.
Yeah, so that's my stories. Are sort of positive, you know. They're probably a little bit different than a lot of authors, because I'm not a normal author. I'm dyslexic, and when I was young, I had a teacher tell me I'd never be able to do anything but, you know, be a fry cook, and I ended up being an engineer. I worked for Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Goodrich Aerospace, Alstom, some of the top engineering firms in the world. And so, see, even if you've been labeled as a disabled, or that doesn't mean that you can't do great things, you know.
Right. Can't judge a book by its cover, right?
That's right. And so, yeah. And then I had a brother who was a Down syndrome, and he probably taught me more about unconditional love than anyone else I've ever been around. They don't have any preconceived ideas about people. They treat everyone the same, and they love every single. I'll be writing a book about him too. Yeah. So I've got a lot of stories in me. You know, I'm a pretty old lady. And I love sharing the stories, but they're always.
I love to listen, and I'm sure a lot of people do. Love to listen to your stories.
Yeah, I've had people tell me that they kept telling me, you need to write books. We love to listen to your, you know, look at your postings every day. Why don't you write stories? And I thought, well, okay, I'll go ahead and give it a shot. And so far, so good.
So, Cheri, where do you see yourself in 5 years on the homestead?
I'm praying and I'm believing that I'm going to I want to build some cottages here, or even if I can get that piece, there's a piece of land next to me, I'd like to get it too. And I already went to the town office, and I'd like to build some cottages on here, and then bring in some of the ladies like me who could rent out the cottages, and then we'll build a barn and teach things like weaving and spinning and all the old arts in the barn. We'll still have some sheep, but we'll have some young people living in this house, in the farmhouse. Well, this is a dream, but I believe dreams can
I
happen.
smile because it makes my heart sing. That makes me really happy. It really does. That's really lovely that you have inspiration like that.
Yeah. Because I have some friends I'd really like to bring here that are very talented, that could teach the weaving and the spinning, and you know, there's a lot of young people that are really getting back into the old art and stuff. And I just think that if it's going to happen, it will, you know. Because I'm willing to build the 3. I said I got zoned for 3 more buildings on 3 more houses. I can have 3 more houses on here, but they'll be like just 2-bedroom houses. And then my house is zoned to be it can be like two family house. And it's a pretty good size. There's 4 bedrooms upstairs, and
It sounds like a beautiful plan.
yeah, I really want to do that. I really want to start teaching the kids about these things. We need to start soon. You know, I go to the Springfield Fair every year, and I take a lot of stuff, and those kids are so interested in it. I'm going to try to take some stuff for, what's it called? Felting, because felting is fun. It's something everyone can do. I showed a little 8-year-old how to do it, and she made a rabbit with a beautiful sky. It was full of lavender and pink, and kids are so creative. It was so cute. It had a big puffy tail and had pink inside the ears, and she'd never felt it in her whole life, and it was a work of art. And it was just like jump right off the page. It was just so cute. And I'd like to teach some felting if I can get better at it. My friend Claudia is the one that's really good. I talked her into going to my fiber guild, and she taught us all how to make what were we making? Oh, a mouse, a Christmas mouse. It was so cute. Everybody just loved her. She's amazing. And she's young. She's like in her 20s. So she could teach. So, yeah.
So we're getting ready to wrap up. So
Okay.
last question. If you could sum up in one word what your homesteading experience has meant to you thus far, what would that word be?
Believe. I had to believe in that it could happen, that I had a future and a hope. And I had to believe that I would find a place that would be perfect with the stream and the trees and the pastures, and I did believe, and then of course my faith, my belief in God too. So believing, you have to be able to believe in yourself and believe that your dream can come true, or it won't. You've got to believe.
Cheri, thank you so much for spending this time with me and sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Okay, well, I've enjoyed it too, and bless you and what you're doing, because I think it's an awesome thing.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right, Cheri, you have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye.